In New South Wales, we can expect heatwave conditions before a cool change on the coast in the middle of next week, but it's likely to stay hot inland.
Here we go on another rideadv.com.au adventure. This time we're going from Dural to Gosford, overnight in Gosford, and then coming back to Dural, taking the dirt roads. We're in the middle of a heat wave, so yesterday it was 40 degrees as I was getting here. I'm really hoping it's going to be a lot cooler up in the mountains.
A couple of real important things, keep left. That's that. Two ways to go about tyres. First, I'm going to talk about my way. I put my dirt pressure in and I leave it. I just ride it. I don't ride fast enough on the bitumen, in my opinion, that the optimum bitumen pressure is going to be what I need. I'm also a bit of the belief if I pump it up on the bitumen, is my belief, all I'm going to do is end up wearing the centre strip out because I've pumped it up so hard. So I just leave my tyre pressure on and that's what I ride with. Now if I was to go to 3 or 4 hours on the tar, 5 hours on the tar, at highway speed, maybe I consider making a change, but most of the time I just do, that's what I do.
With hydration, my suggestion is sip every stop, because by the time you get thirsty, it's too late. So literally every time you pull up, have a sip, pull up to regroup, have a sip, pull up corner man, have a sip, every single time.
If you're not going to the toilet, you're not drinking enough, that's the end of it.
Yeah.
That's the by far.
And always seek shade, on a day like today for sure.
Yeah, well, whenever we can, we'll try and stop these stops in the shade.
Yep.
You pick your wheel tracks on your left hand, or obviously be the inside wheel track. And most dirt roads traditionally have 3 wheel tracks, don't they? If you look at a dirt road, you've got your right hand, your left hand, and then they're inside, their middle, they share the middle sort of thing. Most of the time on a dirt road, you'll find a nice, not only will you have a nice outside wheel track, the one you're looking for on a right hander and an inside and left hander, but it'll also, the gravel will also be pushed to a point where there might be somewhere you can lean the wheel on, if you know what I mean. And so as you come into the corner, like Chris said, as you're going into the right hander, you're pushing down this outside peg. And what that's doing is that's pushing the bike, virtually pushing the bike to the ground, and it's making your centre of gravity as low as possible. And that's the big challenge.
If you're doing it with a sit-down technique, it's the same thing. The body stays upright, the bike leans over, and the weight's on the outside peg, but because you're not standing up, you're leaning the bike in and you're actually putting the weight on with your rear end. So you've got your butt cheek literally on the corner of the seat as the bike sort of tips in underneath you. So you're still weighting that outside peg. My personal view on big bikes is standing up gives you maximum. You can get all your weight on to the point where you can lift your inside leg off.
And just practice that, because if you haven't been doing it, it'll feel remote. Old school racers that have ridden for years, you've been doing it, but you may not even realise you're doing it. So it's just one of those things. Just practice that technique. And you'll think about it. You'll weight that outside peg. So try and get it all settled up as you come to the corner. Aim for your line, put it in, then start pushing and push into your peg. Because traditionally, if you're standing up, you're coming to the corner. You may actually push the bike into the corner. The right hander. So right hander, you may use your leg to start to tilt it in, and it feels a little bit remote. Sometimes when you first start to practice it, as you're going through that corner and you start to weight the outside peg, you can start to stand the bike up. So you're sort of pushing down and standing up if it makes sense. If it feels weird at first, you're probably doing it right. It's just practice. It becomes muscle memory. Now we've got a step brake pedal we're using now. So when you're standing like that, you've got the one part of the brake pedal. Sorry, when you're standing like that, you've got to toe your foot in just a fraction to get the higher step on the pedal. First week of road, the first couple of days, it was just weird. But once your muscle memory gets it, I picked it up this morning, it was like, it's happened. So it's all muscle memory. And
took me to this last one.
Trying to go through stand up.
sometimes struggle with it. So what you need to do is get yourself back into the gear that's going to be able to do the whole thing. Cover your clutch in case you need to split your clutch or something. But look up through the corner. Don't look down. Just have a bit of a glance and look up through the corner where you're going. Stay positive with it and attack it like that. You want to do it? Yeah. Follow your chin.
Look at your chin, seriously. Point your chin, not your eyes.
Tip the bike in and you'll be sitting up on the high side of the seat. So if he's going through this corner here, as the bike's coming around the corner, the bike will be leaning, his body will be upright, and his rear end will be sitting up on that side of the seat, pushing weight down on the outside. So you're good to go.
That was just showing off.
Bad for the flora.
It's about 35 degrees. Cheers.
electric little forklift.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought one of our guys had run off the road. Looks a bit nasty. Well, I managed to miss this stop by following some other guys, but I've arrived in time to get a sandwich and a cold drink. Just admiring your number plate, Grant. Who did you have to kill to get that?
Yeah, I looked online just by chance it was there, and it was there, so I put the money on straight away.
That's extraordinary. Well done.
It's managing fatigue. It's about staying concentrating, picking your line. It's that focus of keeping on the left-hand side. It's the focus on the braking into a corner. All that sort of stuff adds up in the end. And that's just pure concentration. Just widen up the face. Yeah. Because up the face will get the front up. If you don't do that, you'll do the big.
Yeah, and lean back.
Yeah, lean back. Go!
G'day. At least they've got air conditioning.
We have when we're moving. That as a spare or a...
No, I don't carry off 4 mils a spare.
Right.
Always. So when you get a new bike and you get your first batch of tyres, get your tyres changed. So when they change your tyres, get 4 mil tubes put in, 3 mil or something better than standard, and then keep your old tubes. And then if you're really stuck for weight, just take the front. The front you can put in the back. There's a few little...
bit of a chat about this next section. Next section we're about to go into is the most technical section we've done pretty well all weekend. And this section's all about line selection. It makes or breaks the whole thing you do. Okay? Take your time, pick a line. Now, picking a line's a funny thing. Sometimes if you're going on an uphill somewhere, you might have little rock ledges or rock sections where your natural thing is to go, oh no, you don't need that. Sometimes those little rock ledges could be where all the traction is. That could be the optimum part. Don't be afraid if it's a straight bit, because there's a bit on the right hand side to get over and get onto that, but just it's all purely about line selection. It'll be about line selection, standing up, and probably just gentle controls, and just basically having a bit of a look. Am I missing something?
Vision up.
Yeah, vision up, looking through, yeah.
Choose what you got to do before you get to it.
Oh no, second, third, sixth, whatever. It's all about that, so take your time, don't be afraid to pick on something that is solid. With your capabilities, you want to watch the ground clearance on the strom down here. I think it's about it really. So we'll get to the end of this. It's a long way. The rough section's not so bad. Then we run out of dirt road, becomes tar, and then we'll go to Laguna. And at Laguna, we'll just duck in the shop at Laguna. If anyone needs to top off some fuel, bear in mind you'd have 150 k's. That's good.
To get back, yeah.
From there, bear that in mind, right?
And stay out of each other.
Tracks and I've been over and back, but it's the sort of thing that will embarrass you. All right, Bruce, don't want you to go flying through there and crash. Show me how to do it, right? Yeah, no, don't. But yeah, just be careful. There's a cattle grid in the middle of the corner there. I saw a bloke get down that one dewy morning. So the steel pipes were polished, were wet. Old mate's in the middle of the corner, lean on the tyre, off it's gone. We haven't covered anything off about GPS here, so if you've got any questions about GPS, ask us on social media or send me an email.
Subscribe now and let's ride.